Alrighty, folks. Tonight's screencast is for Wednesday, September 12th, and this will be your most challenging lesson. So when you're doing this, follow along. I want you to do the steps as I do them, so you'll know when it's time to pause and rewind it, and so you can try to keep up with this. But what you're going to learn is that really cool stuff, and you got to be really attentive to which track in your timeline is targeted. That's the old look before you leap concept. But in this lesson, you're going to learn how to make what is called a cutaway. Okay, and you're going to learn a really cool term called a three-point edit. It's kind of a fundamental to video editors. And so if you come out of here with those two things, a full understanding, I'm not going to define them, right? We'll just show you what they are, make reference to those two terms as you work tonight, this morning. And you should have a pretty good idea. This should be fun for you. This is the part where you have a little bit of freedom to exercise some creativity and start maybe thinking about your own videos, because you're not far away from starting to shoot your own stuff and try to put some of this theory, I guess, into practice that you'll learn today. Today's a big day. So, all right, let's cut to the chase. First of all, in your browser, you have two sequences. The one that we did as a class, Talking Head, and the other one called Jimbo Borland. Let's take a minute and rename Talking Head, because that's Dad. That's Jim Borland, and it's good practice. So to name a sequence, we click it once to select it. If it's already selected, then just click the name of the sequence and you can rename it. So I'm going to call this Jim Borland. And if you really wanted to tidy things up, you could make a new bin. Usually I don't keep my sequences in bins because I don't have that many in a project. But we're going to edit Jim Borland, the dad, not the boy. Okay? So make sure that guy's front and center. And then come Thursday, you'll have some practice to do kind of the same kind of things, either with the Jimbo, the boy, or I have this parody that we filmed years and years ago. And I'm thinking I'm maybe using that one. So anyway, you're going to use my video for a couple more days, and then maybe we'll see about you guys learning how to do some shooting. Maybe take you to shooting boot camp. So, all right, here it goes. First of all, you got a big problem. Okay, in this sequence, this is a Talking Head sequence. You have the dreaded jump cut. Okay, what's a jump cut? Jump cut is exactly what its name implies. You see a jump to a smoothly playing video. Every cut point,
and I'm Jimbo's dad.
Because it's impossible to do a Talking Head interview without having the guy make a mistake. So when you look at this, this is jarring to the viewer.
I couldn't wait for the day.
There's one. And if I scrub, there's another. Jump, 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 jump. So the object of the game is to cover up those nasty jump cuts with something different. And the something different will be called a cutaway. And a cutaway simply is this. It's a shot that cuts away from the main scene. It's related to it, right? But it will do a couple of things. It's going to cover up a nasty cut, jump cut. And then it's also going to add interest. So when you shoot these cutaways, which are oftentimes called B-roll, you shoot with the goal of adding interest to your video. Hey, what can I cut away to? And so that kind of drives your video. So I have to listen to what he says and then decide which particular cut we can put into this clip to cover up the jump cut and also add interest. So let's listen to what he says, and particularly where the cut point occurs between the two clips. What is he saying? The first one, he doesn't say much. He introduces himself. So I'm more interested in what he says when it's obvious to surf. So let's play it and listen in to what Jim says.
I'm Jimbo's dad. Where I grew up in the Santa Monica, Venice area, surfing has always been a respected sport. All the kids did it. So,
all right, so he's talking about growing up in Santa Monica and how important surfing was, right? It was kind of like, I don't know, think of something that is kind of unique to a Youper, the lifestyle up here. It'd be hunting, fishing type of thing. So if I had a cutaway of a typical beach with a bunch of people surfing, that'd be cool. Or if you're thinking about the UP, maybe you think about skiing. A nice cutaway might be people getting ready to hit the slopes at Pine Mountain or something like that. So I can't remember all the clips that we were given, but they have a bin, and one of them was called Cutaways. Okay, and so I'm just looking at the names of these, and I don't remember any of them having kind of a wide shot of a bunch of people or kids on the beach, just more than one person trying to illustrate, that a lot of people embrace surfing out there. And I just don't think we have one. So there's a shot of the boy. I've seen these before, and so I don't remember seeing one with multiple people. You have a guy in this shot who is not the boy, but that guy's pretty good. Got a shot of the boy bringing this board down to the beach. We got a high five. I'm just checking these out by myself to see if I had something. Not nose writing that out to see walking to ocean. I'm looking for other people that might be in the shot. It looks pretty empty on that beach when they filmed this. So, all right, we don't have what we want to cover up the jump cut. So, I don't think we have other clips where he really talks about the boy getting ready to surf. So I think I'm going to go with a shot of the boy waxing his surfboard. Okay, so as I look at the clip, I always look at the duration. I have 13 and 3 frames to work with. This is called waxing board right. All right, so as I scrub through it, I'm just going to watch and see if we have some decent frames. Okay, I see something I don't want, because he scrubs it. It's his fingers that hurts him here. Don't want that. Or maybe he was just flipping that thing over. It just looked funny. So I want to grab some frames when he's actually, waxing away here and not go over the top. So I can use really any of those frames after where he picks up the little deal, if I choose not to use that part where he picks up the deal. All right, here's how it works. We have to mark at least 2 points. We can mark 2 in the viewer, or we can mark 2 in the timeline. And really, it doesn't make a lot of difference, at least in this case. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 2 points in the viewer that indicate the frames that I like and the viewer will see. So I'm going to mark one about 519. If you're really obsessive compulsive and you really want to match every single number, my number is 519. Okay, so I mark the endpoint. And I want to mark about, 3-4 seconds of stuff. Something that adds interest, but we don't get bored by watching. So I'm scrubbing ahead, and I'm going to just watch what he does. So he's waxing the board, he's looking good. I'm going to mark an out point right there to see how much content I have just marked. I've marked 2 seconds and 15 frames, okay? That's not bad. I'm going to play it from in to out so I get a sense of how fast that cutaway plays. Okay, I think I want a little more. I'm going to stretch it closer to 3:15 because the dialogue, obvious to surf, is one of the longest. It is the longest clip for Jim's talking head. So now when I play it into out, okay, it stops at 9:03. So the duration is 3:15. Okay, I know what I want to see. Now in the timeline, okay, you have to tell the computer where you want the cutaway to start. All right, you can start. By the way, you may want to zoom in. Z, click. I tap the letter A, and I'm back to my arrow tool. So I want the cutaway to start either on that cut point or slightly before. Can't start it after, because if I do, I'll still see the jump. So as a rule of thumb, we start it on the cut point or a little before. I'm going to go on the cut point. Okay, now a lot of people will take and mark an endpoint in the timeline, and that would tell the computer where you want the edit to start. Technically, you don't have to. You can leave the playhead there, and it'll assume that as your starting point for your clip. Okay. The other question you have to answer is, do I want the audio to come with in the cutaway? So when I listen to the cutaway, here's some background beach noise. And really, we have to decide, do we want that, or do we want to hear Dad talking exclusively, okay? I'm going to say I don't want the background noise. We'll do one without, one with, and then guess what? You make the call, all right? So Here's how the edit is handled. I'm going to take this puzzle piece and I'm going to target video track 2. It's nice to put your cutaways in track 2, and I'll show you why later. All right. Since I don't want any audio, I'm clicking these 2 locks. That's going to lock both tracks of audio. They're uneditable. They're safe. You can't screw them up. Okay, can do nothing to them. Once you've done that, targeted track 2 with your video, targeted nothing for audio. You've locked the tracks. You've marked the good content. You're going to do an overwrite, and you cannot, okay? You have to get out of the habit of going direct to timeline with it, because the next one you do, we're going to mark ins and outs in the timeline, and it won't respect those. So learn to do 3-point edits, the traditional technique where we drag from viewer to canvas and we let go on the overwrite. When you do so, there's your cutaway. Okay? So what did it do? It covered a jump cut, it added interest, and the cutaway is relevant, right? That's the other thing. When you shoot cutaways, you want to shoot relevant video. You don't want to shoot a cutaway of Jimbo's mother gardening, right?